guys, welcome back to another video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video with me again. Today I'm going to be breaking down the biggest thing I think in salons everywhere right now, which is balayage. First of all, I know a lot of people get confused on how to pronounce the term. It's balayage, so like not balayage, not balayage. That's kind of what I get a lot. And I mean, not your fault, you know. I always obviously know what you're saying. But the term is balayage. It's a French term and it means to sweep or sweeping. So when you see your stylist with that like really sticky white kind of stuff that they're putting on your hair, that's clay lightener, that's what you balayage with. And originally, back in like when it first kind of became a thing, you literally just took your brush, the stylist took their brush and just like painted on like little teeny like highlights. It wasn't anything like it was today, which is really cool because it's evolved so much. But yeah, so pretty much it's evolved to this really sun-kissed natural kind of gradient style hair color, which I mean, I specialize in it. I love it so much. I love doing anything with blondes. And it's become a really awesome, you know, like specialty kind of skill to have in your tool set as a hairstylist. It's definitely more of a specialized technique, so yes, it is going to be more money, but it also takes a lot more skill to be able to do a bang-in balayage than to, you know, do like a traditional foil, and it's way more intense and intricate than I think a lot of people realize. So yes, you can't go into a salon, want like a full head of, you know, gorgeous hand-painted highlights and come out thinking you're only going to pay like $100. So that is definitely something to think about if you are thinking about changing your hair color, or you want, you know, to be in with the trends and, you know, what's hot right now. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just how it is. So as I said before, a balayage is simply just a hand-painted, sun-kissed gradient effect. So take my hair. I actually just got my hair done. Shout out Mr. Michael Burgess. I just got my hair done and I like that kind of like balayage look. Paint natural like hand-painted highlights. So you're going to be a little bit lighter on your ends. It's going to gradually get lighter. It's not going to be like a harsh line. It's supposed to be a gradient panel. If you're naturally dark like I am, you're going to have your natural base and then it's slowly going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. There's going to be a progression, a gradient there. So now if you're in the salon and you're getting a balayage service, you're going to be there for a couple hours, especially if you have a lot of hair. It definitely is a skill that takes more time. It takes better quality product, again, which is why it's a little bit more expensive. And it's overall a very lived-in, seamless, natural look. So it's meant to be a super low maintenance look. You're definitely paying a little bit more for it because you're not in the salon as much. So as I said before, the balayage is supposed to be a very low maintenance, very natural, very gradient looking sun-kissed effect. It's not supposed to be, you know, like a super platinum blonde all over. You're not supposed to look super tone on tone. You're supposed to have that sun-kissed effect. So say you're out in the sun all day, you get a couple lighter pieces in the front of your face or wherever. That's all balayage is really supposed to be. That's what it's meant for. Anything else, you're heading into a little bit of a different technique. You can get super duper light with a balayage, but it's going to be a couple processes and it's going to be a little bit slower depending on what you're working with, depending on what your hair looks like at the time, if it's been pre-lightened, if it's naturally just like a sandy kind of blonde. You can get pretty light with it, but the main purpose of it is just to be like a sun-kissed gradient style look. Another thing too is that because when you do a balayage, 9 times out of 10 your stylist is going to use more of a clay lightener, which is totally different than the kind of lightener that you put into like a foil. So with that kind of lightener is more conditioning, and it honestly helps to protect your hair while also lightening it, which is another really added benefit because your hair is not going to feel super duper fried after like a million balayage services, depending on, you know, what your stylist is using. But I think that it's definitely a healthier option for your hair if you feel like you want some lightness, you want some pops, you want some pieces, but you know, you're afraid of damaging your hair. I think it's a little bit of a healthier option because of that clay lightener. That definitely makes a difference. It's a more controlled lift of your hair, and it leaves it a little bit more conditioned, which, I mean, I think is a plus all around. So now I'm going to insert some photos too, just to show you what I mean of some work that I've done. Like I said, it's supposed to be super duper natural, super sun-kissed, really dimensional, and, you know, have some depth, have some dimension. You're not supposed to look super tone on tone. I also want to talk about the difference between balayage and a couple other terms that you hear throughout, you know, salon cultures and, you know, Instagram. I mean, Instagram's huge for all these like new trendy looks and techniques that are going around. I wanted to go over the difference between, I think, the top three that you definitely hear. You definitely hear balayage everywhere. But balayage is definitely confused with a lot of other techniques. It's honestly confused with just a basic foiling technique. And it's definitely confused with ombre. When ombre came out, I hated it. It started getting really, really big when I was in hair school about 5 years ago. No, 6 years ago. And I hated when the ombre came out because, first of all, it just sounds silly to me. I don't even really like that word. It is a French term for shaded or shading, so I don't understand where the ombre became this crazy high contrast, kind of weird, unnatural looking look. It's supposed to be two-toned. It's supposed to be like that dip dye that, I know that dip dye thing kind of was big too. And I mean, you could clearly see the difference between like a traditional balayage and then like a weird ombre thing. I don't know. It's never really been my style. It's not natural. It's got a lot of contrast. And it's supposed to be like super dark up here and then like just cut and have like this much of your hair be like platinum blonde, which, I don't know. I think you just ruined your hair. You ruined your ends. You probably had to cut all that off. It's not my favorite look, if you can't tell. The new thing now too is, as I said, there's a lot more techniques out there today. Balayage is kind of formed into a lot of different things. As I said, it started with just taking a paintbrush and just kind of painting, you know, just random pieces as the hair laid. You know, you didn't really take sections. You didn't really, you know, paint all kinds of stuff. And it's definitely evolved. So it's evolved into my favorite, probably, technique process to do is a foliage. Now that term sounds kind of weird. It gets kind of scary. My clients look at me like, what the hell is that? But it's really, really awesome. It's one of my favorite techniques to do. There's a lot of techniques that I've learned. I'll insert some photos here as well of some foliages that I've kind of done, but first I'll obviously tell you what it means. It's really good for someone who has a ton of hair and wants to be really, really blonde. It's actually good for a couple different things. It's good for someone who has a lot of hair, wants to be really blonde, wants to get that coverage, and doesn't, you know, a traditional hand-painted balayage isn't really going to do it. So you're putting the hair into a foil, but you're applying it similar to a balayage. So you always leave a little bit of a root out for that lived-in look, right? Nothing goes up to the root, nothing, you know, it's not supposed to look like a traditional, you know, back-to-back foil that, you know, has been around for years and years and years and years and years. I may have had an energy drink, so if I'm talking too fast, that's fine. Anyway, so yeah, so it's not supposed to look like a super crazy back-to-back foil that has been around for years. It's supposed to be very natural, very lived in. So you're applying the product to the hair in the foil similar to a balayage, so you're leaving a little bit of root. You're gonna still get that blend that I'm sure you see stylists talk about, but you're gonna be able to get lighter way faster. You're gonna be able to get super duper bright. It's gonna look so pretty, and it'll have a foiled effect, but also that lived in natural look. So it's kind of the best of both worlds when you want that lived in look, but you have a ton of hair, or you want to be platinum blonde, you don't want to have a sun-kissed effect, you really want to be like insanely light. It's also really good for clients who have done the traditional back-to-back foils for years and years, and they now, you know, maybe they had a baby, maybe they got a different job, or, you know, they're not able to maintain that crazy foil as much as they could before. So you can transition them into more of a lived-in look by doing that foliage service. Again, I'll insert some photos so you can see what I'm talking about. That is my own work. Head over and follow my Instagram. Shameless plug. But yeah, so I love the foliage. That's honestly, I do it way more than like a regular balayage. I love everything about blonding and blonding techniques, but I think my core is like that foliage look because it's just the best of both worlds, you know? I definitely do balayages very often as well, but I have a lot of blondes who love to be nice and bright, nice and fancy, so we go all out for those. So I hope all of that made sense. I just wanted to go over those 3 different techniques, those 3 terms that, you know, you hear throughout the salon and all over Instagram and stuff, and I just wanted to give a little bit of a breakdown. As I said before, a balayage is like, you know, you need a lot of skill. It's going to take a lot of time. It's really easy to go into a salon and ask for a balayage and come out with just like horribleness. I've corrected quite a few balayages. Unfortunately, I hate to see that, but I have corrected quite a few, and you know, it's hard to find someone who will really do it well. There's a lot of amazing hairstylists out there. I follow like so many people. I love going on my Instagram every day and seeing what kind of blonding techniques I'm gonna learn that day, you know. Just be careful because it really is a specialized technique. I know it's advertised everywhere today, but it definitely is something that takes time and skill to perfect. I'm not perfect. I still have days where, you know, I might see a spot or two and, you know, I kind of like, oops. That's on the stylist, obviously, to want to fix it or try to, you know, make it look a little bit better, whatever the situation is. Alright, so that's it for today. I just wanted to break down those terms. I know it's something that we hear in the salon and see all over Instagram every day, and a lot of people aren't sure what it is, what's going on. So to sum everything up, balayage is solely supposed to be a sun-kissed look. That's what it's meant to be. That's what the term means. It's supposed to be a sun-kissed gradient effect. You're supposed to have depth. You're not supposed to be super tone on tone. With a foliage, you're kind of combining the best of both worlds for those blondes who want to be super duper blonde. They want to have that lived-in look. They want to have that low maintenance look. But it's just going to bump them up to that next level of brightness as far as their blonde goes. And that horrible ombre that was a trend 5-6 years ago, thank goodness that's gone. That drove me insane. That was that crazy, you know, super dark to like insanely light, no transition, no blend, just like a dip dye kind of thing, whatever that phase was. I'm glad we're past that. And if you have any more questions or concerns that I did not answer, please drop a comment below, send me a DM over on my Instagram, and I will be sure to answer that for you. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give me that thumbs up. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.